Hi guys, welcome to another beer review. It's currently about 25 past 11 in the evening on a Sunday evening, and I decided that I wanted to do a little bit of cleaning around the house, or the apartment I should say, and now I'm in the mood for a beer to wind down and hopefully get to bed in a couple of hours. So today we are looking at the beer that was brewed for the Regensburg Craft Beer Festival 2017. A beer that I did taste at the festival. It was really good. We kicked off our festival, me and my dad, with that beer. A great start. And I've already reviewed this beer once, but I accidentally deleted the video. But thankfully I picked up 2 bottles from Birretta. I initially picked 2 up so I could have one to review now and then one to hold on to for about half a year to a year, maybe even longer, because before I get into it, I find that the beer is still a bit young, and I was talking to Pete from slowdrink.de and he advised me that the festival beer is great this year, just take into consideration that it's a little bit young, and when I drank it at the festival I got that sort of feeling about it, and then when I did a proper review of it, you know, I also got that same feeling. But yeah, anyway, you want me to actually talk about the beer and show you it and stuff, not just tell you about the beer before we even get started on it. So this is the Regensburg Craft Beer Festival Sud 2017, and which is Obergäriger Doppelbock, clocking in at 8.5%. Really nice simple artwork. So this beer is a collaboration between 4 breweries, those breweries being Eichhofener or Schlossbrauerei Eichhofener, Nittenauer Bier, Riedenburger Brauhaus and Spitalbrauerei Regensburg. So a nice collaborative effort, and the hops come from Hopsteiner and the malts come from Weyermann. Weyermann. Apologies. I'm trying to read the label as I'm talking to you guys and it's clearly not working. So yeah, this collaborative effort between 4 breweries who I've got a hell of a lot of time for in my local vicinity, with Spital being the local brewery because it's actually in the city. And yeah, the malts are Barker Pilsner, oat malts, and the hops are Callista, Mittelfrüh and Hercules. So yeah, a nice little collaborative effort, and I like the fact that they've actually credited the hop and malt growers, farmers, providers, that sort of thing, and that's something that we don't really do, is it? We don't really talk about like the companies that provide the breweries with the hops and the yeast and all that sort of stuff. Speaking of yeast, they've used a Scottish ale yeast in this one. So yeah, really quite an intriguing concept for a Doppelbock. The past 2 festival beers they had were a Festival Pale Ale, which I actually really enjoyed both years. The first time in the first year was a great one, and then they improved the recipe in my opinion the second time round, and yeah, I'm actually really glad that they went down a different path, and the fact that it's a collaborative effort just makes it that bit more special. You know, it's a beer for a special occasion, and yeah, the festival's absolutely fantastic this year. I was granted press privileges from the I can't even formulate proper sentences, from the organisers Thomas and Martin. So a massive thank you to you guys. It was a pleasure to be at the festival, and it's just a shame that I couldn't have been there for all 3 days, because I would have had a whale of a time. Met some fantastic people at the festival this year. Saw some familiar faces, got talking to a few brewers, a few distributors. It was just a wonderful thing, and almost, well, in some respects, much more rewarding than the beer itself, and I drank some absolutely wonderful beer at this year's festival. So yeah, already drank this one, and thankfully I had another bottle downstairs, so let's get this one poured and see what we get. So Doppelbocks are one of my favourite styles. I love very traditional German styles of beers. Heller's being probably one of my favourite. The Augustiner Lager Beer Hell, I've gone on record as saying that's the best beer in the world, which I still stand by. And yeah, this past weekend, it's like literally a week after the festival that I'm recording this video. By the way, there's going to be a link down below to my little video that I made about the festival and stuff, which it didn't really come out the way I wanted it to, but it came out nice, at least I think so anyway. But yeah, very traditional beer styles, Rauch beers, love Rauch beers. I had a few Schlenkerla beers this weekend, which just blew my mind. But anyway, we're not here to talk about those beers, we're here to talk about this festival beer. So in the glass then, that is Haze for Days. Look at that, it's opaque, it's like almost as if you've got a slightly frosted glass there. But yeah, lovely orangey, lemony, golden hues in there. Nice amounts of carbonation in there, very gentle. Didn't really generate much of a head on my pour, but yeah, I just love how that looks. Looks sort of like a cross between a pale ale and a Hellersbock, which is fine by me. So let's see what we can get on the aroma. And I'm getting like a orange peel, that sort of thing, like a candied orange peel as well. That Scottish ale yeast is coming through a lot as well, which I think is complementing that like candied sugar note, which it almost gives it a slight Belgian-like quality. But yeah, lovely hop characteristics. It's not overly hopped. It's not, you know, a massively hopped American style beer or anything like that. I don't think it, you know, it's not supposed to be one of those beers, but lovely fruity vegetation coming from that hop character, mixing with the spicy yeast. A little bit of black pepper maybe and a hint of white pepper. Had a pilsner with pink peppercorns, so I've had pepper on my mind and I'm picking it up a lot in this beer. But yeah, mandarin sort of characters, lovely gentle citrusy tones, and then you get that lovely slightly, what's the word that I always use, like it's a dense and also like damp smelling malt character, like muskiness. There's a really nice shoe blanket muskiness coming through. But yeah, very fruitful and voluptuous smelling beer. Wonderful. So it's one of those ones where it's a very gentle aroma, but it's such a lovely one that you could just sit and smell and take in all those aromas all day. Anyway, let's get on with the tasting. Cheers, guys. Yeah, and it's a lovely, gentle beer. You get a big hit of a yeastiness. You get that slight, gently spiced yeast character. Has almost like a very slight coriander aroma, flavour to it as well. Maybe even something along the lines of rocket, maybe. Quite herbaceous, actually. Then you get that lovely gentle orange flavour. I'm getting that on this beer. Lovely orange throughout. You know, it looks orange, it's got an orangey aroma, and that orange flavour comes through. Gentle warming sensation as it's going down, but aside from that, the 8.5% is masked absolutely beautifully. I think the one thing about this beer that I find, and this could be what could make this beer better as it ages, is that Scottish ale yeast is adding so much flavour to it, but it's a tad harsh, if that makes sense. If that's like fermented out a bit more, there might be some nice, more subtle malty sweetness coming through. It could almost potentially go into a barley wine type characteristic. But the beer on its own merits as it is at this point in time. It's a lovely Hellersbock. That's what I'm getting from it. Lovely gentle hoppy characters. It's got a nice bulky body to it, but it's not a heavy body. Very drinkable for what it is as well, which is astonishing. And yeah, for these warm months, if you chilled it down a little bit, it's packed full of nice, like gentle fruity flavours. Like there's almost like apple and pear qualities coming through, maybe a little hint of a gentle grape character. Nothing really in your face, it's just that harmony of flavours. And I think with a few months, or maybe a year or so, when flavours mellow out and then flavours develop, I think this could be a very intriguing take on the style. And yeah, hopefully I can pick up another couple of bottles and do a review further along down the line, an aged version of this. But yeah, lovely beer as it is right now. Look, nice juicy tones to it, really, really nice. Perfect beer to use as a nightcap. You know, I'm ready to settle down after I finish drinking this beer. Lovely stuff. It's going to take me a little while just for me to enjoy it. Because like I said, that alcohol is masked really, really nicely. So in terms of a rating then on this Festival Sud 2017, because it's a little bit young, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I'd be interested to see how this beer develops, because I've really had not too much experience, and my assumptions are based on what I've heard from other people talking about different flavour characteristics. So it'd be interesting if I could actually hit the nail on the head with this one when it's aged a little bit. But yeah, lovely, lovely beer. Great collaborative effort from everyone involved. All of their links are down below for you guys to check them out. And yeah, if you've not tried this beer, or if you went at the festival, I don't know how easy it is going to be to get hold of it again. But if you get the opportunity to find yourself in Bavaria, pop into Regensburg, go to Birretta, pick up a couple of bottles and enjoy it. And pick this up really cheap from Birretta as well. So for the price, you know, you really cannot complain. So yeah, thanks again to everyone who's watched this video. Comments down below, just bombard me with anything. Check out the festival, or put the page down. Massive thank you to Thomas and Martin once again for giving me the opportunity to go around the festival and meet people and try beers. It was a really wonderful experience. And the festival beer, very, very good. Interesting to see what direction they go down next year. But yeah, all the breweries involved are fantastic breweries. I've got playlists for all of them, so I implore that you guys go check them out as well for some really good Bavarian craft beer and traditional beer. I love that like mixture of traditional and experimentation with this beer specifically, because there are some breweries in there that are a bit more traditional than others, and I like that like coming together of minds and mentalities, and they've come up with a really lovely beer. So thank you guys for watching, and I shall hopefully see you all later. Cheers. Yeah, good job.